Chapter 3. If I tell you, I've got to kill you. Your jaw opens and closes as your mind struggles to compute Neil's words. I'm sorry, you want me to join the mob? Have the two of you lost your minds? Next to you, Dom's jaw clenches. No. All by itself would be bad enough, but I should have known you would double down. Before you can open your mouth to respond, Neil shoots him a look, then plasters on a smile. Well, what my brother means is we'd like you to really consider that offer. After all, it is a lucrative gig. If it's so great, what happened to your last doctor? You look between Neil and Dom, and both of them fall silent. Your stomach sinks. Oh, hell no. You move to exit the booth, but Dom doesn't budge, willfully blocking your path. We're not done here. Dom, move. The word comes out as a growl, and for a moment, something flashes in his eyes. Or what? You lean in close enough that your breath mingles with his. Or I'll make you move. Whoa, hey, let's all just... Dom holds up a hand, silencing his brother without taking his eyes off you. You really think you could make me do anything? Try me. Okay. Looks like tensions are running a little bit high, but I think you're missing a valuable opportunity to negotiate here, Doc. Oh, thank you. But the things I want can't be bought. So if you'll excuse me. This time you turn to exit on Neil's side, and as he stands to let you out, you breeze back into the crowd. But getting to the door proves to be a lot harder than getting to your table. Excuse me, pardon me, if I could just... No one is listening, and as you find yourself trapped by a never-ending chain of college girls holding hands so they don't lose each other, you groan. You've got to be kidding me. By the time you make it out into the cool evening air, you're hot and sweaty from the crowd. You manage to flag down the busy valet. But when you think you can finally go home, he returns with a chagrined expression. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but your car battery died while I was driving it. It'll be about 5 minutes to get it jumped, then I'll bring it around. Of course. Here's something for your trouble. You reach for your wallet, but when you open it, there's no cash. Damn it, I meant to stop at the ATM. Don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Dom approaches from behind and hands the man a crisp bill. As he scurries away, you turn to look at Dom. I didn't need you to pay for me. Right. Because you want the things that money can't buy, like... He trails off, clearly waiting for you to fill in the blanks. Like... morals. I need a clear conscience to sleep at night. Can your job offer that? Such righteous anger. Tell me, how's your conscience when you turn away patients who can't pay? That's different. Is it? At least with us, you wouldn't have to choose between healing and helping the hospital line its pockets. But you make it sound so simple. His expression softens slightly as he steps closer. How's this for simple? He leans in, his voice dropping to an intimate murmur. You sewed my brother up in the back seat of a moving car, with nothing but a needle, thread, and your own smarts. Do you really think average medicine is going to cut it ever again? For a moment, your mind races back to the night, to the street-littered bodies, the thudding of your heart pumping with adrenaline. But instead of feeding your ego, it sends a chill down your spine, and as you remember every gunshot, you do your best not to shudder. I didn't get into medicine for the glory or play God with who lives and dies. I just want to help people.
Then why can't you help our people? You did beautifully before. What's the difference?
The difference is, I didn't have a choice that night. You made it very clear that if I didn't help, Neil would die.
You always had a choice. But when presented with the information, you chose the path that saves lives. Hospital rules be damned.
Dom steps closer, sending your heart racing, and the warmth of his body heat awakens the fire deep in your belly as he growls.
Something tells me that's who you are. So why are you so hell-bent on being domesticated?
The low timbre of his voice paired with his proximity makes a heady combination, and you fight to stand your ground as everything inside of you screams to give in. Why is it so important to you that I join your family?
Mutually assured destruction. If you're in, I don't have to worry about you running your mouth to the cops.
And if you're really worried about that, there's a more permanent solution, and you and I both know it.
That's twice now that you suggested I might do something nefarious to you. I'm starting to think you want me to.
The double entendre in his words is plain, but before you can reply, the valet arrives, your rusty car announcing its arrival with a groan. As Dom sees you inside the car, he crouches to speak through the window.
You know you're going to be saying yes to me sooner or later, right?
Well, I hope you're ready for disappointment.
I'm not. I think it might be my first time.
Don't worry, I'll go easy on you. And with that, you drive away, but you can't help glancing in your rearview mirror, and while you can't be sure, it almost looks like he's smiling. It's not until your next night shift at the hospital that you know why. No. Mr. Coin's orders, ma'am. Sorry. With that, the henchman drops the keys to a brand new sports car in your hand and drives away in your rust bucket. Tentatively, you press the key fob. There's no hiding this. There isn't, and it's hot red, too. Immediately, you return to the nurse's station, feeling like every eye in the hospital is watching you. The new phone in your pocket buzzes.
Like it? I wasn't sure if it was your color.
Are you kidding me, Dom? I don't want the job. And if you keep it up, everyone's gonna think I either robbed a bank or joined the mob.
If they're already thinking it.
Dom, I'm serious. I feel like there's already patients holding their purses when I walk by.
You're being paranoid. I guarantee you the only people who are even noticing are the others in our circle.
Wait, are you saying the family is spies in the hospital?
Let's just say we have an arrangement with certain departments.
The whole hospital is connected to the family.
Not the whole hospital, just enough key players to keep things running smoothly.
How did I never notice before?
Because until now you weren't meant to. Welcome to the bigger picture, Doc.
You glance around the department, suddenly seeing your colleagues in a new light. 3 of them catch your eye. You drop your voice to a whisper. Anything else I need to know? Is the Yeti secretly hospital security or something?
Everything you need to know, you will know. But not before I get that yes. Until then, get back to work.
The call disconnects shortly after, and though you try to focus on your assignment, you can't help but pay attention to your colleagues. I wonder who else is hiding something. I should follow Janice, the respiratory therapist, Mark, the janitor, Linda, the nurse, therapist. You casually trail behind Janice as she makes her round. She slips in her room 304, and when you peek in, the patient lies motionless, various tubes and monitors surrounding his comatose form. She looks up sharply from preparing a breathing treatment. "Did you need something, doctor?" "Oh, no. Sorry. Wrong room." Hastily, you make your exit, but your eyes catch the patient's name on the chart. Vincent Washington. Back in the ER, a woman in an elaborate white dress stumbles in, supported by a woman in a tux. I think I really messed up." She cradles her discolored arm, wincing with each movement. "What happened?" "She fell before the ceremony," said she. "Didn't want to ruin the photos with the cast, so we waited, but I don't think we should have. We spent so much on the wedding, an ER visit is going to throw our budget all so far off." "Why don't you two come with me and we'll see what's going on?" A few minutes later, the orthopedic attending reviews her x-rays, her expression grim. "This break, she tried to set it herself, didn't she?" They couldn't afford the surprise bill. "Well, that'll change things for sure, but it's not the end of the world. You know, I'd be happy to show you the proper technique for how to address a break like this in the lab. Could be useful knowledge." Right. Learn bone setting. "I'd love to learn the proper technique." "Excellent. Follow me to the simulation lab." In the lab, you don the VR headset. A simulated patient's broken arm materializes before you. Most people's first instinct is pain management, usually alcohol. But that's a mistake. With a closed fracture like this, it only increases bleeding. Which is exactly what our bride did. Exactly. But aside from that, the procedure is simpler than you might think. Tell me about setting the splint, checking alignment, initial realignment. Setting the splint... the splint comes... Hell, I want to say last. Technically, you want to do the alignment. This is where most people rush. They think once they've aligned it, they're done. But you need to verify alignment from multiple angles before setting the splint. See, I was right. Making sure we got it right the first time. Tell me about initial realignment. The key is steady, even pressure. You want to pull slowly until you feel the bones align. Won't that hurt? Yes. Less than leaving it misaligned, and far less than what she did trying to set it herself. Setting the splint. A proper splint is crucial. Without it, the bone could shift during healing. You want it firm, but not too tight. We need to allow for swelling. Got it. Stable, but not restrictive. Now watch carefully. First, we need to realign the broken bone. She demonstrates on the simulation, gripping the wrist and applying a steady tension until the bone settles. Next, we need to verify the alignment from multiple angles. She rotates the arm, checking the position carefully. Finally, we set the splint to maintain position during healing. Look at me. Aren't I skilled? She expertly wraps and secures the splint. I could do that with my eyes closed. Really? Let's test that theory. The simulation resets, but this time there's a crying bride, anxious wife, and a hovering wedding party. Well, first... I didn't pay attention in class, kids. No, I'm kidding. We need to realign the bone. You grip the wrist firmly, preparing to realign. Wait, will this hurt? Be honest with her. Yes, but less than leaving it misaligned. Maybe we should wait. Trust me, the longer we wait, the harder this gets. You maintain steady pressure as you speak and suddenly feel the bones shift into place. There, worst part's over. Next, I'll verify. Carefully, you check the alignment with multiple angles. Is it supposed to look like that? Explain the process. Yes, I'm making sure everything's lined up properly before we set it. Oh, that actually makes sense. And the alignment looks perfect from every angle. Only the final step remains. And that's set the splint. You carefully wrap and secure the splint. Perfect execution, even with all the distractions. Just like I said, I could do it with my eyes closed. Outstanding work. You didn't make a single mistake. I know. Thank you. This was incredibly helpful. Yeah, it is actually. A lot of people should learn how to do this. It is basic survival skills. With skills like that, you might be ready for the real thing. Of course, I'll get started on her transfer paperwork right away. You remove the VR headset, your mind already racing with possibilities. At least now I know how to do this properly, just in case. As a person who literally and figuratively had a shattered foot and had to walk a mile home, yeah, no, you need to know these things. Literally shattered the whole thing. It was fun. You settle into a seat at your usual lunch table, where your fellow residents are already deep in conversation. I swear, between rent and those student loans, I'm barely staying afloat. Tell me about it, man. I had to start driving for Uber on my days off just to make ends meet. At least everyone here is perfectly normal. Buoyed by the lively conversation, you lean forward to chime in. You're telling me. I can't wait until the real money starts coming in. My residency check feels huge compared to the one from my internship. Can't wait to see what comes next year. Seriously? What? Things might be a little more dire for some of us. Oh, I didn't mean it. I know money's a sensitive topic. Uncomfortable silence falls over the table, and as the neuro-resident forces an awkward smile, you cringe. I'm not gonna lie, it was a cringeful statement. Sorry, forget I said anything. A few chairs down, the pulmonary resident checks her phone and groans. Great. Dr. Oglivy already found a roommate, dermatologist. Of course. Why is that a problem? We've got this old house a few blocks away, but the landlord's hiking the rent. We need a fourth person to make it work, but everyone's locked into leases already. You wait for the question you know is coming. And wait, until finally you can't stand it anymore. Well, my building has some open 3 bedrooms. Lease is running out. This one's a tough one. I'm gonna go with open 3 bedrooms. My landlord's a total weirdo, but I could ask around. Several residents exchange looks before the pulmonology resident scoffs. Look, no one else is gonna say it, so I will. We don't appreciate you pretending to be in the same boat as us. It's insulting. Excuse me? Come on, Gold. We've all seen your new car. And the new cell phone. Wow, you guys are paying attention to even her cell phone. Cute. And you seem pretty perky for someone who just had a death in the family. That week-long vacation must have been nice. Really? God, you are a... I earned every last one of my days when I saved. But did you start to explain exactly what you had to offer up in exchange for that week, you think better of it. You know what? None of you know anything about me, and you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because I'm in the same exact position as all of you. PB&J is a stable at my place. Sometimes the roaches at my place are huge, but the piece de resistance... Whip out your phone, pulling up your student loan account. The hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. Your words die in your throat as you stare at your bank balance. Where there's normally an angry red 6-figure number, 3 green words stare back at you. Paid in full. That's not possible. My dad, it's all been wiped out. Wow, Gold. Learn to read the room, would you? You stumble to your feet, your hand shaking as you grab your things. I have to go. Imagine going, look at my student loans, and on the screen it's paid. They're probably like, wow, dude, really? You barely hear their muttered comments as you rush from the cafeteria, already dialing Dom's number. The phone rings and rings, but there's no answer. Your blood pressure rises until finally you hang up and let your fingers fly across the keyboard. Answer the damn phone. I cannot believe you paid those loans without even asking me. Do I even want to know what you had to do to get into my account? And what the hell is a two-factor identification for if it's that easy? It's true. It's true. Not gonna lie, it is actually true. It's because it's a joke. That controlling, presumptuous. You stare at your phone, willing it to buzz with a response, but you're met with nothing but silence. It's time to end this once and for all. You check your watch. There's still 30 minutes left in my lunch break. Without hesitation, you head for the hospital exit, your keys already in hand. If he won't come to me, that's more than enough time to get some answers in person. You grip the steering wheel of your new sports car ferociously as you guide it into the familiar elevator platform at Dom's penthouse. The nerve of him barging into my life whenever he wants, but ignoring me when it suits him. Let's see how you like it, Mr. Coin. The doors open, and as you climb out, you hear Dom's voice echoing from down the hall. And I want it handled by tonight. There you are. Without hesitation, you follow the sound of one of the million wooden doors and throw it open. Dom, we need to... Okay. But the words die in your throat as you spy Dom sitting behind his desk surrounded by a dozen Coin family members. And clearly in the middle of a meeting. Talk. One by one, every head turns towards you, and you feel the weight of their stares, but it's Dom's thunderous expression your eyes lock onto. Yeah, no, he mad. Well, I guess that explains why you didn't answer my calls or texts, huh? I think this is kind of your fault, though. Phone etiquette says you should let a person know when you're going to be unavailable. Not really. Shut up. There's no such thing. Probably to stop incidents like this, so you're bad. The silence stretches painfully as you stand in the doorway, every eye in the room fixed on you. Finally, Dom's voice cuts through the tension. Out. Yep. Yep. You start to turn back the way you came, but Dom calls out again. Not you. You freeze as he gestures at his assembled soldiers. Everyone else out now. The family members file past you without a word, and Neil is the last to leave, pausing at the door to mouth to you. Good luck. The door clicks shut behind him, and all at once you're left alone with the mob boss himself. Do you have any idea what you've just done? I'm sorry. I was trying to reach you about my student loans. So you stormed into my home, into a private meeting. How was I supposed to know you were busy? Hell, you spent all day harassing me. I thought this was your job. Dom strides towards you with a predatory grace, each step making your pulse quicken. You just don't know when to quit, do you? You start to respond, and he presses a finger to your lips, silencing you mid-sentence. That mouth of yours is going to get you in a lot of trouble. You've got to learn to control it. His finger trails down your jawline, leaving a path of fire in its wake. Slowly, his hand closes around your throat. And I know just where to start. He's careful to squeeze only at your pulse point, restricting the flow of blood to your brain, and a wave of euphoria washes over you. Then, without warning, his lips crash into yours, and the kiss is demanding, dominant, claiming everything you hoped it would be.
You catch his bottom lip between your teeth, reveling in a surprised groan.
Ugh. If you want to tame me, you've got your work cut out.
Blood beads on his lip, and Dom looks it away with a swipe of his tongue. Good thing I like a challenge.
His grip on your neck tightens, and as he bends you over the desk, you fight back a moan.
His foot nudges your ankles apart. Clearly, you've misunderstood the power dynamic around here, so let me help you out.
He slams your palms against the desk surface, his chest pressing against your back as he growls.
Everything the light touches from Logan Square to Wickman is mine. And that includes you.
You look over your shoulder, taking in the dark, volatile look in his eyes. You can't help the smirk that spreads across your face. Yours. Until your daddy gets back, of course. Should I expect the same treatment from him?
His entire body goes rigid against yours. You must want me to punish you.
Even as the words leave his mouth, heat pulls between your thighs. You couldn't explain the allure if you tried. But suddenly everything in you wants to be on the receiving end of a punishment doled out by one Dominic coin.
Listen, I know some of you want this, but it's YouTube, so I don't think so. Sorry.
Wait, I want to be punished?
And that alone is enough to make you come crashing back to reality.
Actually, I should really get back to work.
Hold on. When you came in, you were saying something about your loans. What happened?
You paid them off without asking me.
And it's a problem. Why?
The same reason the car was a problem, Dom. I don't want to work for the mob.
Fine. Keep turning down the opportunity to actually make a difference. Go back to working at the hospital. See if I care.
He pushes away the desk and paces the office, clearly upset. There are other doctors out there who would jump at this chance. Why does it have to be me? His pace slows to a stop, and for a moment the two of you are silent before he turns to face you.
Because being head of the family means on any given day, I could be sending my people to their death, and they'll go, willingly and without question. Anybody who would trust me with their lives deserves to have a doctor who'll do everything she can for them, and that's you.
So, you did all this for your family?
You're surprised? We may not be blood related, but they're all just as much family as Neil.
Something about the quiet conviction in his voice makes your chest tight. And suddenly you understand exactly why his people would follow him anywhere. Okay. When do I start? After a long day, you finally make it back to your apartment. What a day. New car, saved a honeymoon, signed up for organized crime. Now to crawl into bed and sleep for a decade. But, as you approach your door, you notice it's slightly ajar. Hello? When there's no response, you push the door open and find your belongings everywhere. Drawers empty, furniture overturned, and your landlord standing in the middle. Well, we're about to find your corpse floating in the bottom of a river somewhere, I can tell. Yeah, no, we're gonna find you floating in the bottom somewhere. Can't wait for this explanation next week. Oh boy. Anyway, without further ado, please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts. Here's my thoughts. I'm intrigued, right? So first and foremost, I like medical stuff, right? I'm a huge fan of medical shows. I mean, I've seen ER, I've seen House several times. Big fan of that show. And so, I've always been I'm a person who, as I've stressed to people over many, many years, as if you've been a part of this channel, this community we have here, where always learn something new, right? And so, like I said, learning to set a bone is literally survival instinct. It's maybe something that a lot of people cringe at, right? But there may come a day where literally and figuratively you may need to do that for yourself for survival, or someone else that you may care about. And let's put it this way. If you have someone who, let's just say, broke their leg, you need to learn how to set that. And it may be something that just you're kind of cringing and you're afraid of blood or whatnot, but would you rather your family member bleed out and die? Like there's bones that stick out of skin, and I know some of you right now are probably cringing as we speak. So long story short is it's something that I do. I learn something new every single day, or at least I try most days, but usually I stick to it. And it's just something that you walk away and you're like, hey, I'm smarter today than I was yesterday. And tomorrow I'll be smarter than I was today. And that's literally and figuratively how I live my life. Um, and so I like this. I like this book so far. I'm glad that they didn't leave it as just two chapters and then boom, they walked away from it. So that let's just see how they handle it, right? If you guys ever did chapters, this reminds me of Bad Boy Blues mixed with the one hospital book we did. I forget what it was called. Listen, the reason why I think Bad Boy Blues is the it's a mob book, so yeah. I really enjoyed it. So if you've never watched that, right, feel free to look at it, and you'll be like, "Wow, this is actually really good." It's actually where I first got my kind of like darker voice, right, more depth, more baritone to it, right. This voice doing something around then like this, and it's where I first kind of discovered it because I see a characters a lot of times and I then look at them and I'm like, okay, I'm going to develop your voice based off of the personality that we've seen up until now and your looks. And that's usually where a lot of my voice inspiration comes from. Usually with a female MC though, I just try and keep it the standard voice, right? Just something safe, easy to do because you are 60 to 80% of the talking and I don't want to stress out my vocal cords too much. Because it already, in case you didn't know, it actually already hurts to talk slash do voice acting as it is, because I've got prior damage down in there with my vocal box that happened a few years ago. So I actually had lost my voice at one point. Um, and so I used to sound completely different than I do now, and I actually used to not be able to do voices. So I used to just sound one particular way, and that was it for me. So I guess in a way it was a blessing what happened, but at the same time, I went through a lot to get where I was recovered. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Like I said, let me know your thoughts down below. Catch you all later. Peace out.